Hello viewers, welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Preeti Jagmani. I am from Department of Computer Science, Arrowhead College, University of Delhi. So presently we are going through our series of hypertext markup language, and we have covered many topics, and presently the topic which is going on is about frames and frame set, and we have already seen what actually a frame is and why do we need frame and how to set up these frames. So with a quick recap of what we have done till this point in frames, we'll start this lecture, and then we'll be covering, after this recap, we'll be covering more about frames and frame sets. So in a quick nutshell, frame is actually something or a construct, you can say, or an element of HTML which is used to divide the browser window into multiple sections. Now why this is required? So that each section can be loaded with a separate HTML document. You can have a separate HTML document in the left side, and on the right hand side, on the right side frame, or we can say right side panel, you have a different document, and then that collection of frames in a browser window. So we can have multiple frames, like we can have if we are having the frames column wise, we can have 2 or 3 frames, or if we have frames row wise, again we can have 2 or 3 frames. So frame set is basically, we can say, collection of these frames is frame set. So in a browser window, what all frames you can see is, and that collection is frame sets. And obviously, as I have told you, that this is organized in the form of rows and columns, and this we have seen in the earlier classes. Now coming to the commands or the codes, let us focus on what actually the command is. So here it is going to be depends on how are we going to divide the browser window. Either it is through in the form of columns or in the form of rows, or it could be nested. I'll be covering the nested frames in a short while, but let us begin with the simple frame set, in which we have divided the browser window into 3 rows. As you can see on the screen, the command says frame set rows is equals to 10%, 80%, again 10%. So the first row will be, or the first section will be 10% of the total screen, then the next section will be 80%, and then 10%. Now apart from this, what is being written here is frame name is equals to top, source is equals to some HTML, then we have frame name is equals to main, some source, and frame name is equals to bottom with some source. So what is this these commands are doing? That means the topmost frame will be named as top, and which HTML will be displayed inside that frame is top underscore frame dot HTML. The second portion, which is 80%, which is covering 80% of the browser window, will be named as main frame, and the HTML file which is going to be displayed inside it is main underscore frame dot HTML, and similarly the bottom one is named as bottom, and the source is also given as bottom frame dot HTML. So basically what is this is, what this command is going to do is, it is dividing the browser window into 3 parts. Each part, each frame is having a name, and each frame is having a source, that is the name of the file which will be displayed inside that section. So per 10% will be displaying top underscore frame dot HTML contents of that particular file. Similarly 80%, the second section is going to display main frame dot HTML files content, and the bottom frame is going to display the contents of bottom frame dot HTML. Now here it is needless to say that we should have all these HTML files ready, that is top frame, main frame, and bottom frame. So we have a clear crystal clear idea about this about this section, or about this methodology. This we have already covered in our previous lectures. Now what is new here is the no frames tag, if you can see. So here it is, after these frame names and frame SRCs, I am having a tag which is named as no frames. So you can address, you can notice the no frame tag opening as well as no frame tag closing. And what is very special inside this tag is body is an element which is contained inside the no frame. So now I'll just go through the code once and then I'll explain. So it says no frames, and within the body there is a message. So this message here is what we have written is your browser does not support frames, and the body closed, no frame closed, and the frame set closed. So now couple of things which are noticeable. The no frame tag is going to be contained inside the frame set tag, and body tag is going to be, or body container is going to be inside the no frames tag. Now see what is happening here. As you all are aware, let me recall that we have, wherever we are going to implement this frame tags, or wherever we are going to have these frames tag, we are not going to write the body tag, and this is what we have already taken care of. But if your browser is something, let's say it is an old browser, or for some other technical reasons your browser is not supporting the frames, and so in that situation what will happen, this frame set and the frames tag is not going to work, and user will be nothing will be displayed and user will be clueless. So in order to give it a clean exit, we need to have the no frame tag. So no frame tag is there in order to show that this browser is not going to support the frame. So if frame sets is being supported, it is browser window will be divided according to whatever proportion we have given. If your browser or if the user's browser is not supporting frames, then user will be having a message whatever is written inside the no frames, and within the no frames we have body, because this body is something which will be displayed when this no frames tag will execute in absence of the compatibility, or in absence of the support of the frame this frame tag. So here you can see if your browser, because of any technical reasons, is not going to support frames, there is a element which is kind of a savior here, is the no frame element, and no frame element must place a body element inside it. Because the frame set was earlier supposed to replace the body, and in this example or in this scenario we can say the frame set is not working, so we need to have a no frame tag, and within the no frame tag we have body which is inside the no frame element. So this should be the idea. Within the frame set tag we have the whole conceptualization of frames. Within that we have no frames, and within no frames we have the body tag as well. And obviously it is very, very important to give some relevant message for the user having browsers which are not supporting the frames. So within the body we can say, we can give here a very relevant message, for example, sorry your browser does not support frames, or something of that sort, which clearly gives a message to the user that your there is a technical difficulty and browser is not supporting the frames. So here till this point we have seen the no frames tag and its importance along with the frame set tag. Now as you know that almost all of the elements or tags we can say can be nested. So for example we have seen list. So list can be nested within one another. So similarly we can nested the frame sets. So frame sets may be nested to any level. It could be 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels, or something of that sort. So here we have frame set. Now let us try to see how this frame sets can be nested. So here we can say in this example what we have done, almost equally we have divided the screen into 3 columns, and then there will be the contents of first frame in the first column, contents of second frame in the second column, and contents of third frame in the third column. Now the second column is again divided into rows, and then those two rows are equally, we can say equal in portions. So here you can see frame set columns is equals to 33%, 33% and 34%. As I am telling you, it was equally equal. Then there will be the contents of first frame, so that means you need to give the frame tag here along with the name of the frame and the source of the frame. Then whenever we are going to deal with the second frame, now here again a frame set tag will be there, which says frame set rows is equals to 50%, 50%, and then there will be the contents of second frame first row, and then there will be the contents of second frame second row, and frame set, the inner frame set is closed here. Now let me explain. So here it is the first column and the contents of the first frame, which will be decided by the frame and the source frame and the source attribute. Obviously a name has to be there, because name is having its own relevance, its own importance. Then the second column has been again divided into two rows, two equal rows we can say. Then there goes the command or the contents of the second frame first row. Whatever you need to display in the second frame first row, that will be there. Just after that there will be the contents of the second frame second row. So contents here means there will be a frame tag in which we need to define the source along with the name of the frame. Then within this the second frame we need to have this for the second row again. Then the frame set is closed. Now please remember, this is the inner frame set which is of rows is being closed, and then there will be the contents of the third frame. Now this third frame is actually the third frame of the upper frame set or the outer frame set we can say, which is in the form of columns. So what we have done till this point is we have divided the screen into two columns, and the middle column is again divided into two rows, and here will be kind of we can say the output will be something of this sort, obviously without color. So the color is just here to make you differentiate the things. So here this will be the output. So the outer frame set is of three columns, then the middle frame set middle frame is again divided into two rows. So this will be the scenario. Now a very important information within the frames we can say is about the targets of the frame, or we can say the frame target. So frame target is actually an attribute of it is an attribute of the frame tag. This is the attribute which specifies the names of the frame where a document has to be opened. Now consider the scenario. For example, in the left side I am having a menu. Let's say for example about, then the policy structure and so on and so forth. There are 4-5 menus, and then we want this to be displayed. For example, whenever I am clicking the about the institution, the matter about the institution should be displayed on the right hand side. So in normal or it is a very common scenario in the websites where you must have seen that there is a menu on the top banner side or on the top side, and whatever we are going to click, let's say we have clicked about the institution, that about the institution material will be displayed under that particular menu we can say, or in the bottom of the screen, or under that particular ribbon or menu. Then so what is that? So basically we can say that particular website is being divided into two frames. One frame is the upper frame in which the menu is written, and the next frame is the lower frame in which the information will be displayed on which on which option you are clicking, and on the basis of that particular click the information will be displayed in the bottom frame. So how it is going to be displayed in the bottom frame? That means we have decided the target of the links of the top frame as the bottom frame. So the target is the bottom frame. So here comes the concept of the target frame. So basically it is an attribute which specifies the name of the frame where a document is to be opened, and here comes the relevance of the attribute name. So you remember in the frame tag we have given name is equals to main or name is equals to top, and then we have defined the source. So here we are going to take this name, and this name will be specified in the target attribute. So by assigning a name to a frame through the name attribute or via name attribute, one can refer to it as the target of the links defined by the other elements. So the upper frame, let's say in that example which we were discussing, the upper frame is upper and the lower frame is named as lower. So while defining the code for the upper frame, we will be referring target is equals to lower, and lower is the name of the bottom frame, we can say. So in this way we need target attributes. Now it is not only about the one particular target of a frame. This target attribute may be set for the elements like links, then for the image maps, and then for the forms. So it is not only one links, but it could be forms where these forms where the forms can be open, where the images can be displayed, where the links will be open. In all these parameters we can use this target attribute, and the important piece of information here is the frame name which is used in order to recognize the frame. So we have let's say 3 frames, 1, 2, 3, and we want the information from 1 to be displayed inside the 3rd frame. So while coding for the frame 1, we will be saying target is equals to 3. So that's the simple information which we need to put up. But how this is going to take place, actually let's see this with the help of an example. Here I have not started from HTML head, I am just focusing on the frame set, but please remember whenever we are writing frame set there is no body. Now here you can say we have frame set rows is equals to 50-50%. That means your browser window is divided into 2 equal parts horizontally. Now name of the first frame is fixed, and the HTML which is going to be displayed inside this is init fixed.html, or let's say 1.html, whatever. Then the name of the second frame is dynamic, and there is also a source, and this is going to close the frame set, as we have given only 2 partitions for this frame set, and HTML is being closed. HTML is being opened here also. I mean, you need to, whenever you are going to write the complete code, you need to open the HTML, then head information and title information if you need it, and then you need to close the HTML as well. Now inside this init dynamic.html, which is the source for the second frame, or we can say the bottom frame, we will be having let's say we are having 2 hyperlinks. For these hyperlinks I have given target is equals to dynamic for both these links, and if you can see the name is equals to dynamic is given for the bottom frame. So whatever is being displayed inside the bottom frame, because the source of the bottom frame here is init underscore dynamic, so init underscore dynamic.html will be displayed inside the bottom frame, and whatever links are there, I am having here 2 links, one is slide 2, another one is slide 3. So whenever I am going to click slide 2, it will be displayed in the same frame. Whenever I am going to click slide 3, it will be displayed in the same frame, because the target attribute is being displayed as dynamic. So here if we can see, let us try to consider this in a comprehensive manner. So here init dynamic.html is the source file which is going to be displayed inside the bottom frame. So basically initially we can say our frame set our browser windows divided into two. For the sake of convenience, let's name them. We have already their name, one is fixed, another one is dynamic. So the lower part is named as dynamic, the upper part is named as fixed, as the example I was giving you. Then within the you can say the bottom frame, the source which is going to be displayed or the HTML file which is going to be displayed is named as init_dynamic, and within the code of this init _dynamic, this is a normal HTML file which is going to be displayed inside the bottom frame. So here we have body, then there is a beginning of document, and there are two links. One link is named as the hypertext, for that particular link is slide 2. Another link is having the hypertext at slide 3, and whenever I am going to click on slide 2 or slide 3, what will happen? These are just normal links. So whenever I am going to click slide 2, the reference which is slide2.html will be opened. Now the question is, where is this going to be open? So this is going to be open inside the dynamic frame, and similarly for slide 3 also, whenever we are going to click on slide 3, this will be displayed inside the frame which is named as dynamic. That means that's the frame in which they are being we can say initially loaded. So that was the significance of the target frame, but that's not all. We have many we can say values of this attributes of the target frame, and we will be exploring them all in a short while. So basically here we have seen that activating either of the links, whether it is slide 2 or slide 3, is going to open a new document, and that new document will be opened inside the frame which is named as dynamic. Why? Just because of the simple reason that the target of the links is being we can say defined as the or specified as the dynamic thing. Now here what we have seen is, if there are two links, for both the links we have given target attribute. Now let us say we have a complete menu of 10 to 12 items, and all those 10 to 12 items will be displayed inside a particular frame on getting click. So basically the idea here is, do we really need to specify a target attribute with all those 12 menu items? No, we can have one base target attribute which will be defined inside the head. So here comes one more usage of the head section. Till this point we have seen only one usage, or maybe two we have seen. One is to display the title, another one is for some meta information. Here is the third use of the head section, which says, now here we have written base hyperlink reference is equals to whatever the reference is, and target is equals to dynamic. So whatever these references, whatever links of that particular reference will be clicked, target of all those will be dynamic. So here if we have defined inside this if we have defined this target attribute in the base in the base tag of the head, we need not to define this with every hyperlink reference. So here you can say, now I have not written a hyperlink reference is equals to slide2.html target is equals to dynamic. So that target is equals to dynamic is missing from both the links. Why? Because that has been already placed inside the base tag, and that will be valid for all the reference links, we can say. So here what we have seen in this lecture is we have started with a recap of frames and frame sets. Then we have seen no frames tag. Apart from that, we have gone through the nested frame set, and then we have seen the target, the importance of the target attributes and its usage. So, hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you for a patient hearing, and here is a list of references which is being used for making this lecture or preparation of this lecture. Thank you.